right, guys, we talk about the leap players make from year 1 to year 2 all the time, specifically quarterbacks. They get their feet wet as rookies, understand how the game works, and then make that jump in year 2. We saw it this year with Drake May and Caleb Williams. On the flip side, we saw Jaden Daniels go from having a great rookie year, taking a bit of a step back. But for the most part, we usually look at the jump forward for young quarterbacks. There are 4 rookie quarterbacks from the 2025 class that are in a position to start in 2026. Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, and Jackson Dart. Of those 4.
Maybe 5, Mike.
Dylan Gabriel?
No, what's his name? Howard, Will Howard.
Yeah.
I guess technically
possibly we could start.
We could throw Will Howard into the discussion.
But he didn't play, so we can't talk about improvement. So
we don't know what the year 1 or year 2 jump for Will Howard is because he didn't play last year. So of those 4G, which do you think has the chance to take the biggest jump from where they were at the end of their rookie season to year number 2?
So you want? I got 2. I could give you 2 answers, right? I could give you. I think, to be honest with you, I think all of them going to improve. But you asked me who can take the biggest leap, and it depends on how far you started behind the rest of them. And the answer is obviously Shedeur Sanders. I mean, this is very easy. This is actually the easiest question that you're going to answer. And here I'm going to break it down very eloquently and very quickly. When you look at all those rest of those guys.
Wait. Before you go on, I don't mean to cut you off. Mm-hmm. He was a Pro Bowler. Go on.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to add that. Throw that Pro Bowl in there. Throw that in there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me just say this. All the rest of those guys, Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, Jackson Dart, all the rest of those guys played way more than he did. Those guys were also guys that received, at some point of the season, the lion's share of reps. Also, let's just be clear about this. Those organizations believed in those guys. They were, when you see Cam Ward, they unveiling jerseys, he's right out there front. Jackson Dart, when they was looking around, they had already been talking about Jackson Dart and get rid of Russell Wilson early with the Giants. Tyler Shuck was always in the rotation getting rep. It seemed like to me and a lot of people that the coaching staff never really truly believed in Shedeur Sanders when they was here. He was 4th on the depth chart. So that's already been established. But the fact of the matter is he's going to now be in a position where, from the moves that they made in the offseason, it looks like they are going to give him an opportunity to be quarterback 1. All the players is coming in there and talking about it. All the free agents came in there and said, hey, I'm interested in playing with Shedeur. I like it. This guy is this guy is that. He's showing me some leadership. And now it's a difference between when you have somebody who believes in what you can do and somebody that is backing you. Because when somebody is backing you, they're going to give you room to make mistakes. They're going to give you room to do certain things. They're also going to try to put you in the best opportune position to succeed. So that always plays a big part in it, and the fact that the level of confidence you have. It's the difference between fighting an uphill battle. Tyvus, you know this. When you on the roster, you're trying to fight for a roster spot. There's a level of angst that comes with that, because you always talked about how you can come in any day and be cut. You got to play 10 times better than this dude to even get the opportunity to stay on the football field.
That's a fact.
So when you get that opportunity where you saying, I'm on the depth chart and I'm traveling, you gonna put yourself in a position where you gonna feel better. You gonna go out there, play with better confidence. And a lot of this stuff from year 1 to year 2 about quarterbacks is confidence. Also, it's the roster. And lastly, they did exactly what they were supposed to. Go get me some linemen. They go get me Freeland. You got in a position. We just talked about these receivers. The upgrades coming is already been spoken about by Andrew Berry. So the offense will be better. The receiver will be better. I believe the play calling, I believe the playbook would be better. The confidence is in what he can do, and competition is going to make him better, because now he's going to get a Deshaun Watson that's coming in here ready to go and still sharp as steel. So I like it. I think he has, all of them will improve, but I think he started off at the lowest point out of all those other guys. And I think he has a greater opportunity to catch some of those people in terms of the biggest leap from year 1 to year 2.
Tyvus, who you got?
I agree with everything he just said for sure. I would say My answer, I'm not going to say Shedeur because you said Shedeur. My answer will be Tyler Shuck. And the reason why I'm going to take Tyler Shuck over the other ones is because although I think Cam Ward may be the most talented one out of those, Tyler Shuck got something going for him that the other three don't. His coach stayed. Everybody else, nobody changed. He got this, so it's year 2 in the same system to where everybody else is still learning a new system.
I like that
for him, he's already starting off with a leg up on the competition because he's saying the same terminology. You know, obviously, I think if you get Chris Olave back, who was just coming off of a second-team All-Pro season, you got the best weapon out of all of them. I know Malik Neighbors is really good with Jackson Dart, but Malik Neighbors is coming off of torn ACL.
I think so. Yeah.
So we got to see what that looks like. I know Chris Olave missed the last game. I think he had blood clots or something like that.
I don't
remember what it was, but it wasn't like a physical type injury, so he should be fine when he comes back. And again, the reason I'm going to say Tyler Shuck is simply for the fact that year 2, listening to the same terminology with the same guys. They worked on the offensive line last year throughout the draft. You're getting the whole offensive line that's played together, that's going to be there for a year 2, and he understands the huddle and all of that stuff. To me, it seems like he would be the easy option to have the second best year.
All right, we got 3 different answers. So when I looked at this, I said, okay, Tyler Shuck and Jackson Dart played better than I thought they would. So for them to make the biggest improvement, I thought was unlikely because I don't think either of them are great. I think they're both decent, solid, but I don't think they're going to go from like solid as a rookie to fantastic second year. I could certainly be wrong. Ultimately, I went with Cam Ward because if you ranked how they played last year, Dart and Shuck were 1 and 2, whichever order you want to put them in. Cam Ward was 3 and Shedeur Sanders was 4. But like Shedeur, Cam Ward didn't really play that well. Like Shedeur, he's on a terrible team with a terrible offense. But here's the differences. Number one, I just think Cam Ward's a more talented player than Shedeur Sanders.
He's the most talented out of the four.
Right. He's more talented, number one. Number two, the Titans have already spent some money at wide receiver. They added Wan'Dale Robinson, who's not a superstar, but he's a good, solid wide receiver. And I actually think Calvin Ridley, even though he's past his prime, and I still think Calvin Ridley and Wan'Dale Robinson are both better than Jerry Jeudy, certainly more reliable than Jerry Jeudy. And both have new coaches, so you have the same thing there.
Is his play caller
I don't even know. Who's the Titans
Brian
coach?
Daboll,
I can't remember.
right?
It's Daboll.
Yeah.
Well, Robert Saleh's the head coach.
Oh, right.
Daboll
And Daboll is, yeah. So, and I just, like I said, in the end, Cam Ward to me is a better player than Shedeur Sanders. I think his wide receiving talent around him will be probably a little better. And he was, of all the guys, he was the biggest disappointment last year of the quarterbacks. And he's more likely to play a full season than Shedeur Sanders is. Even if you think Shedeur is going to be the starter at the beginning of the season, which I think is probably the case, but you don't know. We don't know that for sure. Cam Ward, unless he's hurt, is 100% the starter.
Yeah.
So
Well, I feel like that's probably
that's a factor to me.
That's probably all of them. Maybe Shedeur because of the competition.
I mean, Shedeur's the only
he
one.
should be the
Shedeur's the only one that's not 100% the starter week one,
Assuming health, but yeah.
assuming health.
I think
he is.
He moving up to about in the 90, 95.
I don't know how you guys can say that. What has he done to get 95%?
What has Deshaun done?
Yeah, that's what people will say.
Deshaun's done nothing, but they're going to add another quarterback.
What have they done?
Who the new dudes?
Who is it? Who is the guy that they can add?
But here's the
at
thing:
this point, that
the
you would
Browns
say,
could possibly draft a quarterback in the first or second round. Correct?
Sure.
I have that down.
The other teams are not going to do that. 100%.
I think the Browns are less than 5% chance of doing it.
How could you say that though?
I don't think they're going to
Because the only other quarterback is Ty Simpson, and I don't think he's
But
good.
we don't know that. Nobody thought Jackson Dart was going to go that high. Nobody thought Tyler Shuck was going to go that high, and they did, and they were good.
Yeah. Well,
Jackson-
Todd McShay show sat up there and said that.
Jackson Dart, we talked about it. Jackson Dart was good in college. Jackson Dart was nice. Like, we talked about
Guys,
Jackson Dart. Like,
definitely
Jackson
did.
Dart.
Here's the facts. Right now, there's probably no better option because I think Deshaun Watson is shot. So, okay, that's a fact. I guess that's not a fact. That's an opinion.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
But here's some other facts. He was drafted in the 5th round.
Shedeur?
Yes.
Yeah.
He played, I guess this is not a fact, I guess, even though to me it is. He didn't play well last year. Now, we can make all the excuses, and they're fair. About the talent around him. He objectively did not play good football. There's no debate.
I think when you say objectively, didn't play good football, there are individual throws where you can see.
You say that about any quarterback.
Well, I'm just saying, there's individual throws where you can see the processing, you can see the touch, you can see the timing, you can see the accuracy.
Keep it real. He did not play well. Doesn't mean he's not going to play well. We understand the circumstances. We're going to be hard for anybody to
Hold on. Here's the thing.
If you're going to argue he played well, then there's nobody's ever played poorly in the history of football.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've watched every single film. I've watched every single game 4 times.
Right.
I break down the film after the game. We go over the film and we talk about what you did good and what you did bad.
Yeah.
So when people say he objectively played bad, it's a black and white situation. What I'm saying is when you're looking at a rookie quarterback, you got to break down the good plays or the bad plays. That's how football works. It isn't just blanket you play good or you play bad. You watch every play.
You've never made that argument for any other player in the history of football. We've never talked about the nuance of playing. Obviously, there's nuance in every conversation.
I make that nuance about every player.
Are you saying he played good last year?
There are sometimes he's played well, and there's sometimes he had things to improve on.
So then no quarterback's ever played poorly in the history of football?
Yes. But here's the thing. When you're talking about it, you have to point out the good as well as the bad in the context of the situation. Here's the thing. I think we've got to the point where in sports talk, we either say it's black or white, good or bad.
I'm all about nuance, G. Bush. But the bottom line is, if we're giving an overall grade, you got to say A or B. You got to say good or bad.
No, you don't have to say
There's
overall.
always nuance. Why? That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying is overall.
Yeah.
If you want to ask whether or not, because we still get caught up on this, I'm watching the plays.
Okay.
Right? I'm seeing the plays. I see what you did right there.
Yeah.
Other people see what you did. So there are people that are going to say that there is a reason. Let me ask you a question. If Todd Monken, if Todd Monken and the Cleveland Browns had an opportunity, and Andrew Berry had an opportunity to upgrade that position, why did they not do it? And why are they saying that he has these elite things? Now, elite means over the top, good, dynamic, awesome. Right. If they say he has that elite, why
they didn't replace him could be a variety of reasons.
Because they like him. That
could be one of the reasons. They could also be like, well, we're not going to spend money on a guy who we're not sure is better. It's not like who have the good options been to replace him with?
Mac Jones.
Number 2. What they say means nothing. You take it all with a grain of salt. You know that.
Here's the thing.
You know that.
Here's the thing. What I'm saying is, what they saying and what they doing.
Well, you're judging what they're doing based on 1 week of the offseason.
Oh, no. I base it on 3 weeks. 3 weeks in
It's been a week and a week. It's been a week. Free agency started last week.
Hey, I'm just looking at.
It's been 1 week.
Nobody showed up. Kyler, Malik, Anthony, all of them. They didn't show up. They're not here.
Only 2 guys have changed spots, Kyler and Malik. There's other guys.
Geno Smith, he's not here.
Well, why would you get Geno Smith? He's washed up.
That's what I was saying. That's why he's not here. People was advocating it.
Nobody was advocating for Geno Smith.
I know that. Don't be disingenuous. I got the film.
Nobody was advocating.
I got the film.
Nobody was advocating for Geno Smith.
I got him saying it on film.
Stop.
All I'm saying is, who's here and who's not?
Let me ask you this question. If you look at every quarterback that played at least 7-8 games last year, was there any quarterback in the league that had a higher percentage of not good plays than him?
What do you mean percentage of not?
You
good
said
plays?
let's be nuanced. There's some good, there's some bad.
I don't watch.
Shedeur Sanders.
I don't watch. Here's what I'm saying. I don't watch every other. I'm not
All
watching
right,
every
well,
other
we can't have a
quarterback.
discussion if you're not gonna. If you're gonna say Shedeur Sanders didn't play badly last year, how can we not have a discussion?
Because that's where the premise starts. Some people think he's bad. Some people think he's good.
No. I'm not saying he's bad or good. I'm saying he played poorly last year.
There are times
that doesn't mean he's bad.
There are times you make poor throws, right?
Yeah.
But there are times he made awesome throws.
Every quarterback can do that. So if we're going to do that, then we can't say any. So we can never say anybody's good or bad forever.
So
is that fair? Is that what you're saying?
Here's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Take it for Todd Monken. He said he has elite playmaking ability. If you don't believe that, ask Todd.
Okay. So because he said that one thing,
It's his coach.
He said that one thing. That means he's definitely going to be the starter.
He also said he had way better mobility than people gave him credit for, and also he also talked about the leadership capabilities. He said 3 things.
Let's just end it on this point. Up until
Tyvus, can you bring some reality to the conversation?
Up until this point, the Browns have operated as Shedeur Sanders being the starting quarterback.
Period, point blank.
I don't know that I agree with that.
Until
I think
today,
he is going to be the starting
today,
quarterback.
as of 11:58.
But it's been a week.
That's my point.
To say there's only a 5% chance they're going to draft a quarterback.
On March 17, 2026, the Browns have operated as he's going to be the starter.
Do you agree that he clearly did not play well last year?
He had moments where he didn't. He had some bad throws. Yes.
Right, but he did. If you were looking at his season, would you say he played well or didn't play well?
7 touchdowns and 10 picks is not great.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. I don't know why we have to be silly about this. I'm not saying he can't play well in the future.
I ain't into all of that. All I'm saying
I don't know. I'm not saying he can't play well in the future.
To justify what the Browns is saying, right now from the outside looking in, the Browns have operated as Shedeur Sanders.
But you can't argue. You can't argue with my first point, which was the Giants, Saints, and Panthers and Titans are completely committed to their quarterbacks, at least for this year. And the Browns are not at the same level.
11:59 on March 17, 2026.
Yeah.
The Browns operate in the same way.
I completely disagree.
Ask his teammates.
It's literally how they operate. They have not upgraded the position.
So if
all of a sudden, for the
now
all of a sudden,
everything
everybody says in public is a fact.
No.
We've never operated that way. We know that's not true.
Day, if they take Todd Simpson, then that's a totally different story.
Yeah. And I don't think they will either. But to say there's no chance.
So if they don't,
that's why I keep saying as of this moment, right?
If they did make a trade and they don't get Ty Simpson, and they roll into the offseason with Deshaun Watson and Shedeur Sanders, then we would be ridiculous for putting our head in the sands and saying they don't believe when Myles Garrett, your best player, said he was the guy. When Shelby Harris says he's the guy. When
Myles Garrett did not say he was the guy.
When he asked him point blank question, he said, "Are you? Who's the guy? Are you operating as Shedeur Sanders is the guy?" He said, "That's what we're looking at him as."
Earn it.
No. That's the second part.
Well, what do you want him to say? What's he going to say? No, he sucks.
It's an open.
I mean, he's not going to say anything bad about him.
So here's the thing. So are we gonna? Are we gonna take what we think in our mind, even though on the opposite, every single person is saying this, so we believe in our mind that it's
I don't know what you get
nefarious.
That every single person. There's people.
I'll give you an examples.
Yeah.
I gave you Myles Garrett.
I saw the same interview you did.
Quinshon Judkins, he did say that.
Okay. Well, I mean, if Quinshon Judkins says it, and then it must be true that he definitely is.
All the offensive linemen, when they come in and say, "Hey, listen, what do you think about the quarterbacks?" You know who they talked about? Shedeur Sanders.
Okay. We'll see.
No, I didn't hear a Dylan Gabriel reference.
See. Who's talking about Dylan Gabriel?
Nobody.
Are we going to try this straw man again where we pretend people thought Dylan Gabriel was
good? Oh, no. Everybody thought he was good. Oh, everybody.
Talking about
the entire media. The entire media did. We all talked about it. We were on these shows. We all talked about how Dylan Gabriel was ready to play. The articles are written.
G. Bush, what are you talking about? Nobody on the show said Dylan Gabriel was any good. Nobody.
Really?
Nobody.
We did not.
Who said on this show that Dylan Gabriel was good?
Everybody.
Name a person.
Everybody.
Who on this show said it?
Get to it. I'll tell you.
Nobody.
Didi said it.
Said Dylan Gabriel was good?
Let's go back.
First of all, she's not a host. But I want to know the proof.
Whoa. You want the names.
Yeah,
you want the
names.
Didi said it. Jason Lloyd said it.
No, he didn't.
He wrote
never
it.
Said it. He never said Dylan Gabriel was good.
He said he was more ready to play than Shedeur.
Maybe he said that.
What does that count
That's not saying he's good.
Okay. I think Jason.
I don't know if he even said that, but that's not the same thing as saying he's good.
I think Jason said people were telling him Dylan
Yes,
was more
maybe
ready,
people
and-
told him that.
And Dylan played first.
That's
that
not
they
him
were
saying
right.
that's a
I'm
big
just-
difference.
bro,
You're being disingenuous. That's not fair, G-Bush.
I think I'm being very accurate to
No,
say
you're not.
that when
you are
Dylan,
completely biased when it comes to Shedeur Sanders, and you know it.
Dylan,
You know it.
you're trying to act
And you make it.
you're trying to act like that we did not see Dylan Gabriel be pushed as a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders.
No,
That
he
that
wasn't.
definitely
By who? By who?
I
Pretty much the
keep
people
giving
in-
you every
pretty much the
name.
people in Berea.
Tony
Berea.
Grossi, Tony Grossi,
I don't know
Mary
about Tony
Kay.
Grossi. I have no idea about
I
Tony
would say
Grossi.
the people in Berea pushed out the
Hard.
That's the Browns. That's not the media.
I'm just saying. Like,
So I gave
to
you
the-
five
Nobody. I didn't hear one person say
on
he's a good player.
On this panel is different.
Nobody.
I think he's talking
I'm giving
about
you five
the Browns
names.
pushed the narrative that Dylan
I
Gabriel
said this
was
show. I didn't say anything about other people.
And the biggest giveaway
You're
of
saying
all,
it's Berea.
Yeah.
That's the Browns.
The
That's not
biggest
the media.
giveaway of it all is either, I don't know if it was Ross or Albert Breer, but both
Yeah.
one of them came out and said that they felt bad because the Browns made it seem like Dylan was better than Shedeur.
Right. The
Albert
Browns.
Breer,
right.
That's the Browns' fault. That's not the media.
I'm just saying. Listen, I told
Nobody
you, I
on
ain't
this
in that.
panel
I ain't
thought
got nothing
Dylan
to do with
Gabriel was
all
any
that.
good,
I'm
and you
just
know
telling
that.
you
So,
what I
so
what I
okay,
know that.
from my
Oh,
point
am I
of view.
saying you?
Nobody on this panel thought Dylan
So
Gabriel was good.
you talk about this panel today?
Nobody on this show that works on the panel thought Dylan Gabriel could be a starter.
Outside of us,
Nobody.
it could
Watch
only be
this,
Jay
watch this,
Crawford.
watch this.
It
Hold
could
on.
be Jay
Watch this.
Crawford, Dustin, and
Not
Jason.
only did they say that, when Dylan Gabriel got injured,
Yeah.
they advocated playing Bailey Zappi.
Who did?
Jay on this same
That's
chair.
crazy.
That is true. That part
That's
is
one
true.
person, G.
You said nobody on the panel. Why do you keep? That's on the panel.
That doesn't mean he said he was good.
He did get you there.
It's Bailey
No, it's not.
Zappi.
It's two. G.
So now it's Dylan Gabriel and Bailey Zappi's better.
Did Jay Crawford?
Yes, right there.
You keep saying let you finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Did Jay Crawford ever say that Dylan Gabriel was going to be a good football player? Did he? That's what we're arguing. You can't say he said they should have started Bailey Zappi, which is stupid, and he shouldn't have said it. But that doesn't mean he thought Dylan Gabriel. That has nothing to do with the argument that we were. You said you won that argument because Jay said they should play Bailey Zappi, which I agree is absurd. But that has nothing to do with Dylan Gabriel being good. And you know that nobody here thought Dylan Gabriel was going to be any good. Nobody.
That is not true.
That is 100% true.
No matter how many times you say it, it's on paper.
It's
People
not on
said it.
paper. Give me, show me on paper
All right.
the person who said Dylan Gabriel was going to be good.
I gave you.
I said on this show, I don't know what Tony Grossi said. I don't care what Tony Grossi said.
Listen. You want to go overall? You said overall. You keep saying overall.
No,
Overall,
I keep saying on the show. I
hold
said on the show 30 times.
The idea that Dylan Gabriel was better than Shedeur Sanders was promulgated
by the Browns.
No.
But yes, 100% yes.
By the Browns.
Yes, it was.
By the Browns. Yeah.
By the Browns.
Yes.
And 90% of the media.
That's insane. That's insane. No, I don't know a single person that thought Dylan Gabriel could play.
I just gave you media members' names.
You
So
gave
you-
one or
but
two
you-
people.
you
I don't even know if
mentioned-
that's true. That they said Dylan Gabriel was good.
I was the one who. I was the first person who said.
This is what I think. I think that again, you could look at this whole Shedeur situation as the thing. It was mishandled. How you want to look at it? I think where the media that he's talking about really started to operate as Dylan Gabriel as being a better player than Shedeur was right around the time when Joe Flacco started to go down the hill, and people wanted to see the change because coming into the season, everybody said, what's the point of playing Joe Flacco? You need to play the two young guys. So I think what happened is people got into their camps, people that watch practice or whatever the case may be, and they thought they seen Dylan is running more with the ones than Shedeur is.
Right.
So when you look at how
That was the Browns. The Browns.
Correct. But I'm just
the
telling
Browns
you,
were telling
correct
that,
but I'm
that
telling
they
you,
thought Dylan Gabriel was better.
Right.
That shows you how clueless they are.
No, Kevin Stefanski was saying that.
whatever. But what's happening is
Facts.
So
Who drafted Dylan Gabriel higher? Andrew Berry. Fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
Because who was his hand-picked guy?
Oh, whatever. That was a fact. Come on now.
Who
You can't-
was his
You can't
hand-picked
pick
guy?
and choose, G.
I'm just saying.
You can't pick and
I
choose.
was about to finish.
Go ahead. Sorry, Tyler.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Go
I
ahead.
appreciate it. So, what I think happened was due to the fact of how they handled the two rookies, right? Seeing seeing Shedeur on the other field and seeing Dylan also working in with the twos and the ones, if I'm a media person, because a lot of media people aren't like, I won't say they like understand the game of football. Like they don't know what they're looking at. All they could do is go out there and see who's with the ones and the twos. Oh, he's with the twos and the ones. Okay, he must be better. So what happened is once you move off of Joe Flacco and things start going down with Joe Flacco, in their mind, because I watch practice, the thing I remember first is, well, Dylan Gabriel was ahead of Shedeur, so Dylan obviously must be the next guy. So now when you lead to Dylan Gabriel making his start as a media member that's got access with the Browns, a lot of people are not going to be too critical. They're going to be like, I'll be hyped this guy up so fans can get excited about the guy that's going to go out there. And I think that's what happened in that situation to G, what G is talking about.
Maybe so.
I don't know how true people believed in it, but they definitely made stories and painted the picture like, y'all should be excited for Dylan Gabriel because when I watched him in practice, he was with the ones. He processed things fast and all of those things. So athlete for athlete, it's not even close. Shedeur is the better player. But I think due to the fact of the circumstances that we were in, Dylan went in there first, so media members just pushed him as he was going to be the guy. I think that's what happened.
I get what you're saying. I think you make a good point. I think the people that cover the team as like beat reporters took the lead from the Browns.
Right.
The Browns were saying not necessarily that Dylan Gabriel was better, but just that he was more ready to play.
Yeah, but
that's what they were saying.
The only people that actually said opposite around that time, was when Denzel talked to Chad Johnson and they said, "I'm telling you, Shedeur like that," and you would hear them say, "Every day in practice, Shedeur makes some type of play that make you go, ooh-wee." So like they kind of knew, but like the safer bet was Dylan, because with Shedeur it's hot and cold. You know, we saw it on the field. He give you moments where he look really good, but then there's moments where he look really cold. With Dylan, it's a safer thing. It's more like you're going to get this play the whole way. Whether it's not going to be great, it's not going to be terrible, it's going to be pretty level-headed. And that's but that is what Kevin is. Kevin Stefanski was more level-headed. Like he's not hot and cold. He's as a personality, he's just like this. So naturally he had more feeling towards Dylan because it fit who he was as a person. And it was just kind of even keel like that.
I think you're dead on. I think Kevin Stefanski liked Dylan Gabriel more. I think you're right. I think that's 100% true.
Yeah.
I don't buy that many, if any, people in Cleveland media, and trust me, I'll rip people in the Cleveland media. I've done it many times. I don't think many, if any, thought Dylan Gabriel was actually a good quarterback. Now, I can't speak for Tony Grossi. I never listened to him. But I know nobody on this panel, including Jason, who everybody loves to get mad at, thought Dylan Gabriel was going to be any good. Now, may Jason have said that Dylan Gabriel's more ready to play? If he did, that's because that's what he was hearing from the Browns. Now, that may have been bad. Obviously, seems like it was bad information.
I mean, that's what the Browns were.
But the Browns were telling you that
first. Yeah, the Browns told
through
us that.
Kevin Stefanski and other people. They were putting that word out there. But I don't know anybody that I can recall in this town. And again, maybe guys on ESPN Cleveland I don't ever listen to, so I don't really know. So that's possible. But certainly on this show, nobody thought Dylan Gabriel was any good. I know you guys didn't think he was any good. I didn't think he was any good. Dustin didn't think he was any good. I don't think anybody thought Dylan Gabriel was any good. So saying that 90% thought he was going to be good, I mean, come on, that's not true.
I mean, but
then to put it all a cherry on top,
yeah,
you go back to, again, the preseason. Shedeur first game, lights it up.
Yeah.
Next game we see, I don't think he played because he got hurt. He had something going on with his body, right? So
It was Philly.
He was hurt, yeah.
So, he missed that.
And then the third game was bad.
So we got to see we got to see Dylan play.
Right.
And Dylan looked great, and he operated things great.
Great?
I mean,
No.
it wasn't great, but actually he threw a pick six that game. But
and he fumbled.
Everybody was like, oh, no, he's fine because he knows where to go with the ball and all those things. So then we moved to the last game of the season where Dylan goes in there, and I think he played that one pretty clean, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he got to drive before half.
It was a clean game, so everybody was like, okay, let's see what Shedeur does. And Shedeur didn't play that well in that moment.
Yeah.
And then they pulled him out for the 2-minute, and that was the end. So, like, going into the season, that's the last thing everybody got on their mind is, oh, Dylan operated the offense really well. Shedeur kind of didn't have a good game, so, like, boom, the depth chart is set.
Right. Going back to the original point, I think you guys ultimately are right that Shedeur Sanders will probably be the starter of this team. I just think you guys are just a little too certain about it.
No, I just said
because
as of right now, the Browns are operating it that way.
Yeah,
I don't
know that I necessarily agree with that terminology, the way you're putting it, even though I think it's likely, because I don't know, and maybe it's baloney, but obviously there's a lot out there that's like, well, it's a real competition with Deshaun Watson. Do you not think that's true? I mean, I don't know I'm not sure what the belief is.
I've always.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If I came out and said that we swung and missed, we did this show, but it's a swing and a miss. Bull, you was on the panel,
yeah,
and it was a swing and a miss.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but they didn't cut him. They didn't cut him.
I mean,
the Dolphins cut Tua. Right? The Broncos cut Russell Wilson.
Cardinals cut Kyler.
Cardinals cut Kyler.
Obviously, we don't operate that way.
I've always said
we wait till when you know somebody should be fired. We wait till the end of the season to fire the guy. Why would they change with a player?
I've always said the Cleveland Browns have an opportunity to go get a quarterback via free agency, via the draft, or via bringing somebody in, make a trade, do whatever. As of today, I can only take what they have said and their actions. Their actions have said, we didn't move to get Malik Willis or Kyler Murray. As of today, we didn't trade for Anthony Richardson. There are some reports out there that said the Browns weren't really interested. Ty Simpson is a guy that's, they'd probably be the second overall quarterback. But the Cleveland Browns have 2 first-round picks. If they really wanted to go get a quarterback, guess what? They can. I just said who knows what we're going to do in the draft.
That's what I'm saying.
So if they make those moves and those things happen, then you have to say, well, okay, well, cool. They going to figure out and maybe they want somebody else to be quarterback or maybe they going to compete. As of today, they said Deshaun Watson is going to compete with Shedeur Sanders. Great. They operate in that way.
But my point is that there's no competition in those other 3 spots. There's no talk of competition. There is no competition.
That's the
and there might be here. That's the difference.
Who's the quarterback that started over Tyler Shuck?
Spencer Rattler.
And I say that. I completely agree with that. That those guys are in different positions. Cam Ward, Tyler Shuck, and Jackson Dart, they're going to be starting regardless. Actually, to be truthful, I said they're further along because they have already been slotted in a position where they're getting those reps, and those guys the company and the organization is behind those guys. Shedeur Sanders did not have that specifically. He never had opportunity to start. Not saying he was supposed to be guaranteed any of that. We're just saying now it's different because you do have a new play caller, and it seems like the Cleveland Browns are doing things to help him out.
And you may be right that this new regime is fully behind him. I'm just not convinced that that's definitely the case. I feel like you're saying it as if, it's 100% the case.
No.
And I don't buy that.
No, I'm just saying that I think that what I'm saying mostly is they're going to give Shedeur Sanders an opportunity to win a starting job this year.
I think so.
Last year, under Kevin Stefanski, that was not a possibility coming into the season.
That's true. But you also have to admit, and I know it's a little different because he probably should have been drafted higher, but most fifth-round quarterbacks are not given a chance to compete.
Well, no, but I do agree that, most fifth-round quarterbacks, but I think most people would agree that he's not your traditional fifth-round quarterback.
I agree.
Does most third-rounders get that opportunity?
Not necessarily.
No,
not really.
But it happened.
Dylan did.
I don't think Dylan Gabriel was really competing for the starting job. He
got
more of an opportunity certainly than Shedeur did. He had an opportunity, but I don't think there was any way he was ever going to start week 1.
No, but he
was given an opportunity to show himself with, I say better like this because the best Browns offensive players aren't very good, but he was at least looked like he was getting a real chance. Shedeur Sanders was not. I completely agree with.
I think this was see how we brought that back together.
Calmed it down.
See how we brought that back together. That was beautiful.
Kumbaya.
Basically, what they said is G. Bush and Tyvis, or Tyvis and Bull, agree with. No, I'm playing. Go ahead. No, I'm playing. See, I was just playing. Don't you say that. I was just playing.
I, contrary to popular belief, I would like Shedeur Sanders to play well. If he plays well, it solves a huge problem, and the Browns no longer have to address the most important position.
Super fast.
I just think we're a long way from knowing whether he's good enough or not.
I think everybody in Cleveland should want Shedeur Sanders to start.
That's it.
Like, even the people that's against it, they should want it. Due to the fact that whatever you might think about on the field, because I think that'll come. I mean, the dude's is in his second year, so he should make a huge leap. But, like, a guy who, like, talks to kids all the time.
Yeah, he's a good. He seems like a good guy.
That does things in the city. Like, that's what you want your franchise. A guy who has a ton of confidence in himself that he can change things.
Especially after.
Why would you not want that as your quarterback?
Especially after all the complaints about Deshaun Watson and trading for him and his character. It's the opposite, or at least it appears to be. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but he appears to be a
home run for Cleveland if he actually
it would be.
does turn out to be good.
Yeah.